Hey co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to recap for you the season finale of Teen Mom 2. So first of all, I want to apologize for being super late. As you can tell, I have moved and that's been super difficult. I've been going through this move entirely alone, and of course it's taken up a lot of my time. So sorry about that, but I am doing my best to get back on track and to continue pushing out videos for you. Another disclaimer I have to do before I get into this video is that a lot of people come into my comments and a lot of people will come into my comment box and leave just, it's so irritating because I welcome people who disagree with me. That's no problem. If you feel like my view on something is wrong, go ahead and just explain your side in the comments, and you know, we can chat, or like you guys could chat amongst each other. It's supposed to be like a really great community here, but some people will just leave comments like, oh, you're stupid, oh, you hate women. You know, one of the most common phrases I get is women should be supporting women. It's such a simplistic and stupid way of thinking, because first of all, no, women do not have to support other women. There are women who abuse children, abuse their spouses, just abuse drugs, abuse this and that. I'm not going to support that because it's a woman. Do you support Casey Anthony, honey? Do you support Carla Homolka? Like, there's so many despicable, detestable women out there, and I'm not going to support them simply because they're women. That's the stupidest argument in the world, and I'm sick and tired of people saying that shit. If a woman does something that is irresponsible and reckless, not only to herself, but to her dependents, I'm gonna call it the fuck out, and you will deal with that. Because you know what? If you have nothing to say about the fact that a woman is abusing her children or neglecting her children or allowing her partners to abuse and neglect her children, there's something wrong with you, not me, and not with people who disagree with that sort of action. So let's get into today's video. In the season finale, we kicked it off with Janelle and David taking their quote-unquote kids on a boat trip. First of all, if you look really closely, you'll see that Janelle's youngest son, Kaiser, was kind of wet in his shorts, and he was just crying and crying constantly. So naturally, when a baby is crying, a normal person goes, oh my God, this poor baby is crying. What can I do to make this baby comfortable? But Janelle and David are not normal people. Let's just start off by stating the obvious. Janelle actually, in this scene, she seemed to be pretty calm and neutral. She seemed like she was in a really good place where, you know, maybe she was gonna check up on Kaiser a little bit later. I know it's a long shot, but maybe she could have. But David just snapped at him. And then Jace was kind of excited and hyper, which is normal for a young boy, especially considering that we're finding out that he has been diagnosed with ADHD. And so David yells at him, you're not gonna yell like a little bitch. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna do that. Which is ironic because later on in the episode, which we'll get to, David and Janelle are like, oh, Barbara, we need to have, who's we? First of all, time out. Who the fuck is we? David, you've been here for 2 weeks. Anyway, David and Janelle go, Barbara, we need custody of Jace back because you yell in front of him. Guys, Kaiser just doesn't stop screaming and crying, and the whole time we don't see Janelle or David really trying to figure out what he's so uncomfortable over. But they literally just take him, plop him on a boat and say, stop screaming. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And at some point, like, I guess David was so irritated by it that he turns to his friend who brought something for them for the boat and goes, oh my God, he just cries and screams until he gets what he wants. David, what do you think babies do? That's what they do. Do you want him to talk to you and say, David, hand me a bottle. David, you big bitch, change my diaper. What do you think a baby's gonna do, David? They cry, they don't speak. So he takes it one step further and like reminds us all why he doesn't have custody of his own child and why he can't even be around his child by saying, he's such a screaming little bitch like his dad. Wow, that was one of the lowest moments in Teen Mom history. A grown ass 6-foot-something man with a documented violent history telling his friend that a child that's not even his is screaming and crying like a little bitch. Honestly, I felt so scared for the children in that moment because Dave looked so angry, like he would slap a child. If you would choke and slap and hit and beat a pregnant woman, the mother of your child, no less, there's no telling what you would do to a child that's not even yours. And I just, oh my God, my heart froze in that moment. And what was even more sad was that David's friends saw nothing wrong with it. Like, these people are the epitome of birds of a feather flock together. And you know what's also sad? Janelle was not there to hear it, so I don't like fault her for not saying anything in the episode. But since this episode has aired, she's never said a single word about it. She's never tweeted or said anything about how David regrets it. He was just too frustrated in the heat of the moment, or this or that, to try and clear the air. She just goes, I don't need your judgment. I don't care about your judgment. Girl, we know you care about your judgment. You block everybody who doesn't agree with you. What was also troubling was the fact that at some point, Janelle was just so frustrated with Kaiser crying that she picked him up and shook him. She said, you stop crying. Janelle, do you understand that shaken baby syndrome is real? Do you not understand that babies cry? You know what? Let me just stop right here, right now, and say this. There has not been a single episode that has gone by since the beginning of Teen Mom 2, which began at least 7 years ago, where you were not yelling at one of your children, okay? And so right now, you don't even have custody of your first child, okay? So when it comes to this child, Kaiser, since you've had him, every single episode, you've been yelling at him. You've been, oh, I'm so frustrated, dude. You can't even handle one child, but you want custody of the other child? Good effing luck with that. Why do you even want custody of the other child if you clearly cannot handle one child? You're always overwhelmed, dude. Always frustrated, dude. Anyway, child. So next up was a segment where Leah was kind of talking to her relative about the whole backpack saga with Miranda, and I have to give Leah her kudos here because she really showed a lot of growth in that she felt like, oh, maybe I was blowing this out of proportion. It's not how either of us feel. It's about how, you know, Ali felt at the time. So I was really happy with her for that. It was a really quick segment, which then flipped over into Chelsea and Cole. Disclaimer, I mentioned this in my other video, but honestly, I typically use Chelsea segments to get a snack, or I put it on mute because that baby voice is cringeworthy. To me, any adult who insists on speaking like a child, not only to children, which is like decent until they're a certain age. I think Aubrey is too old for you to talk to her like that, but none of my business. But if you insist on speaking that way to other adults, it's like, fuck, I don't even want to hear it. Like, there's something wrong with you. So Chelsea's talking to one of her friends about Adam, you know, the same song and dance she's been doing for 7-8 years, because she doesn't really have a storyline, which is okay. You don't want to have a storyline in the show. Having a storyline means you're a mess. So good for Chelsea. One thing I really want to point out when it comes to Chelsea, a lot of you guys ask me how I feel about her, and I'll just put it out here right now. This is going to be a long video, by the way. This is how I feel about you, Chelsea. Since the very beginning of Teen Mom 2, everyone in your circle told you Adam ain't shit. Adam is a deadbeat. Drop Adam. He does not have Aubrey's best interest in mind. You could do so much better. Like, they've been telling you from the very beginning that Adam is a bad person. Get rid of him. And to me, this one part when it comes to Chelsea and Adam that I feel she totally shot herself in the foot for and probably regrets every day of her life is this. Chelsea, you could have been free from all this. You wouldn't have had to complain anymore about him every single day of your life for a paycheck if you just listened to him the first time. Maya Angelou always told people, when people reveal who they are to you, believe them the first time, and especially when it comes to your child. I don't even have children, and I already know that if anyone ever even said anything remotely close to what Adam has said about Aubrey, they would be cut off in a split second before they even finish their sentence, before they even put a period on that sentence. So to me, I am endlessly disappointed at the fact that you kept him around and stuck with him when he literally called your daughter a mistake. Do you guys remember that episode where Chelsea was at her dad's house and she's just sitting there? She gets a text message from Adam. She goes, and it says something along the lines of, you fat stretch marked bitch. Tell me when and where I could sign over the papers for that mistake. When Chelsea got it, oh my God, I'm pretty sure everyone's heart broke because that was just disgusting. That is not even a human being texting her. That's the devil's incarnate. Who the hell says that about their own child? Adam, like, you are truly a piece of work. But Chelsea starts crying. We all probably cried along with her. I think I did. And she calls her dad and she cries about it. And he tells her, look, he's showing you who he is. Give him the papers. Let him disappear. But Chelsea was so in love with Adam, or infatuated with him at this point, that she still tried to make it work work. You know how frustrating that was for everybody? Here's the thing, Chelsea, when you complain, and this is why I don't like Chelsea complaining about Adam, because you know what? To me, when Chelsea complains about Adam, she's complaining about the fact that he doesn't want to be with her, because Adam has not changed a single bit from the days when she was chasing him like crazy, going behind her dad's back, fighting with her dad, trying to keep him in the house that her dad bought, all that stuff. She went behind everyone's back, lost a lot of friends for Adam. And Adam has never changed. Adam has always been this person. It used to be everyone in Chelsea's segments complaining about Adam, but Chelsea being like, you guys don't see all the progress he's making. Dad, stop, I love him. Like all that kind of stuff. So to me, the only reason that Chelsea complains about Adam, I am willing to bet you so much money. If Adam still wanted Chelsea, she would still be stringing along trying to like fit together this family. To me, it's the fact that she finally got it through her head that Adam does not want her and would never get back with her. And that's when it goes click, click, click. Oh, now that I see you don't want me, you're a badass father. You're a this, you're a that, you're a that. Because honestly, there's nothing that Adam has ever done in recent times that can compare to him calling his daughter a mistake, him saying he would sign all his rights away to her in a heartbeat. Not the car crashes, not the missing out on the father-daughter dance. There's nothing Chelsea can complain about that Adam has done that has ever been worse than that. And when you really think about it, she went back to him after that. She chose him over, you know, the pride of her daughter. So I don't buy her complaining about him, and that's why I use her segments as a snack break. So next up is a scene where we see Kale FaceTime with her quote-unquote husband, Javi, from their offensively purple bedroom. And honestly, in this point, I kind of empathize with Kale quite a bit because it's really, really clear and obvious that she wants to tell him how much he hurt her when he blamed her for the miscarriage and those sorts of things. But she's not a person who cares to show vulnerability, and she would rather replace vulnerability with hostility and anger and aggressiveness. So instead of doing that for once, she actually just plays with her hair and looks around the room and stuff like that. It's just like a really awkward FaceTime conversation about like where their relationship stands, whether or not they'll continue to have one, this and that. And then we move back over to the glorious world of David and Janelle. As usual, David is showing symptoms of being an abusive partner. So we see him meddling in between the fights that's going on between Jace's mother, Barbara, and his birth mother, Janelle. For some reason, he's like, oh, so how's Barbara gonna get Jace back? Are you gonna drop her off? And he kind of like points her towards the direction of creating friction with her mom, to where she gets riled up and goes, oh, I'm not gonna drop her son back off with her. I'm gonna make her come all the way around to get him and this and that. And it's just so disappointing because Janelle goes into this fake rewriting history thing where she acts like the only reason she doesn't have Jace is because she didn't have a home. Girl. You were on reality television. We all know you chose drugs and men over your son any day of the week, every day of the week for years, and you still do. You're not playing anyone except like some really dense people. At some point, David makes this remark like, Barbara doesn't even do this or that. Shows how much of a mother she is. Did you guys hear that? Because to me, when David says shows how much of a mother she is, I'm like, David, your girlfriend chose heroin. She chose weed. She chose 6 or 7 men over her own son. There were so many episodes where Barbara would be like, Janelle, I'm gonna give you extra time with your son. I've got to do something. I've got to go to work. I've got to do this or that. Here, have him. And Janelle would be like, oh my God, Mom, I'm going to a party. Oh my God, Mom, I need to smoke weed. Oh, I'm going to spring break. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. We've seen so many times that Janelle does not want this child. What are you talking about? And her mom shouldn't even have custody of Jace. That shows how much of a mother Barbara is. She took on custody of Jace. If she did not, Jace would be in foster care. Oh, and David, who the hell are you to criticize someone's parenthood when your child's mother and your child both have a joint restraining order against you? Huh? How about that? You can't even be near your own child. Shows how much of a father you are, huh? You risked your child's life abusing his mother while she was pregnant with him. Doesn't that show how much of a father you are? Or do the rules not apply to you? Are you special? Okay, so then it's back to Chelsea and Cole again. Something about a pig and a ring. Really exciting. I'm happy for her. I'm excited to see her walk down the aisle. She totally deserves this, and it's good. What happens next? Okay, then we're back to David and Janelle again. So at this point, David has gotten her all worked up. We all know when Janelle gets a boyfriend, she morphs into him. All of his interests are Janelle's interests. All of his frustrations are Janelle's frustrations. All of his pains are Janelle's pains. So David doesn't feel like driving all the way back down to Barbara's house to apartment living, you guys. David doesn't feel like going back to Barbara's house to give her back her son. So he works up Janelle so that she totally acts like really bratty about it as well. And of course, Janelle has Jason a car and she tells him a lie. She rewrites history for him. Janelle goes, oh, Jace, this is not even a conversation for a child, first of all. This child is probably so traumatized. Let me just disclaimer that, first of all. And so Janelle goes, Jace, the only reason I don't have you is because I didn't have a home when I had you. And now Meme is a big bad wolf because she's keeping you from me. I swear I didn't choose Kesha concerts over you. I swear I didn't choose heroin over you. I swear I didn't choose weed over you. I swear I didn't choose Kiefer, Cortland, Gary, Nathan, that other guy that only lasted a little bit. What was his name? He looked like a serial killer that I moved in within a week. And now David over you. I swear I didn't. Meme's evil. Hopefully she gives you back to me soon. Yeah, right, girl. So Barbara's calling, wondering where her son is because she has a routine for him as his mother, right? And so Janelle starts screaming at her in front of all of these children. Bad parenting, bad parenting. This happens every episode with you. When will you learn? So she goes, give me back my son. You're so this. You're so evil. I'm clean as a whistle. I'm this, I'm that. And so Barbara's like, Janelle, you are not stable. You move every 10 seconds. And Janelle, this is rich. I am so stable. I've been living at my house for 6 months. Barbara's like, listen, Janelle, like your medical stuff, you're in a doctor every other week. You're flying around for events every other week and this and that. Janelle goes, I'm not doing that. Those are medical issues. Barbara's like, oh, spring break is medical? That was the most epic mic drop in Teen Mom history. When Barbara asked Janelle, oh, is spring break medical? I can't even explain how dead I was. I was dead to the bed. Barbara, go off, drag them edges, slay her, snatch her soul. Yes, girl. And so Janelle goes, oh, like, whoa. She kind of like wipes it off and stuff like that. She puts the fight on speakerphone for a 6-year-old, like a fellow 6-year-old, I don't know how old Marissa is, and like a 2-year-old to hear all this yelling and stuff. And she goes, oh, you know what, Barbara? I got you on speakerphone so Jace can hear this. That's great parenting, Janelle. Involve a 6-year-old in adult fights. Good for you. Custody is right around the corner, right? Here's some hot tea for you guys. I follow a really great Tumblr blog called Last Week on Teen Mom. Shout out to you guys because I really, really love you guys and I love everything that you say, and thank you so much for supporting me, by the way. So on Last Week on teenmom.tumblr.com, someone who was at the Teen Mom 2 reunion was tweeting beforehand, before it aired, and she said, Janelle said something so awful and so sick, you're gonna think she's an even worse person than you can already think so. And when she watched the reunion and saw that they didn't air it, she went out and said it. Can you guys guess what Janelle said that was so awful to Jace? According to this source, who was in the audience for the reunion special, at the end of this fight where Janelle is lying to Jace about her relationship with him and stuff, she turns around and says, I couldn't care less if she died. Yeah, let that sink in. A person who chose drugs, partying, and men over their children day after day for 6 years and continues to do it while her mother, who doesn't even make that much money, doesn't even make that much more than minimum wage, and is in retirement stage of her life where she should be enjoying herself, decides to sacrifice her retirement to raise said child. And you're wishing death upon her. Yeah. Janelle supporters, I am so excited to hear you guys explain that. Come on. That's normal, right? We all wish death upon our parents, huh? To call out Janelle for wishing death on her mom is hating on women, right? Isn't it? Anyway, typical Janelle. Sad, sad, sick, sick, sad. So then we get back to Kale and Javi. Again, they're talking over this divorce thing. Something that really struck me in their conversation was that Kale originally was talking to one of her friends, and she goes, oh, like the miscarriage was so shocking, we really wanted that baby. And then within the same conversation, she goes, we can't be together because he wants more babies and I don't. I have a career to look after. We haven't even been good for 2/3 of the years we've been married. But I thought you guys were just family planning and that you were mourning. Or did I not hear that right? Were you not trying for a kid a few weeks ago? You know, isn't that a little bit weird? And if you also recall, earlier in the season, Isaac was talking to her about how she was telling Javi that she has baby fever. You've got some explaining to do, Kale. What's the real reason we're getting divorced? According to your ex-husband, it's because you cheated. I know that a lot of these girls, you know, if you pay really close attention to the show, these girls will always be the victims no matter what they do. But if you actually follow them outside on the internet and stuff, you'll know the real dirt on them. So Kale, we already know the reason you're getting divorced is because you have a cheating bone in your body. First you cheated on Jordan and blamed it on him and got all aggressive with him. Now you're doing the same thing with Javi. And if you'll notice in the conversation she has with Javi over the phone, she says it twice. We're divorcing because you don't want children. And then he starts going off on something. You think he's kind of hinting to another reason they're getting divorced. She's like, no, Javi, we're getting divorced because I don't want children. And it's like, Kale, you are really trying to force this lie on us, huh? We already know. He came out on Twitter. Just let it like air out to the world. Y'all are getting divorced because your husband says you cheated on him, and there are a lot of receipts on the internet, girl. You can't really hide this. In fact, you're still married and you're posting pictures kissing other people. And there's also like other people claiming you on the internet, and you're not saying a single thing about it. You're just encouraging it, liking it, retweeting it, this and that. So you have a record of being a cheater. You're not exactly acting like someone going through a divorce and trying to help their children adjust. So I'm going to side with Javi on this. Most of us are going to side with Javi on this. And another thing about this is that Javi is trying to explain, oh, I want someone who's a supporter. And Kale, anytime he starts a sentence throughout this whole relationship, she'll bark out something else. I mean, so Javi, you know what, Kel, like I wish sometimes you would be like more supportive of me. Like I want to like feel more nurturing from you. Well, I want to get my career. I'm about to graduate, Javi. Like every time he says something, and Javi's such a calm guy, calm, laid back, easygoing guy. Like, you know what? I feel like we both could have compromised on like certain other aspects of this relationship, but I want my career. I don't want babies. Can you ever hear someone out, girl? You know, conversations are typically two-way. I just want to remind you guys that there are a few co-reporters who also feel that MTV, Viacom, Morgan Freeman, and other producers and directors for this show do not take the child abuse that we witness seriously enough. There's a petition that I'm linking down below that if you disagree with the way Janelle treats her children, feel free to sign it so that it gains more awareness and momentum. I would feel irresponsible if I didn't tell you that sometimes I don't even want to watch the show because I don't want to support these people's lifestyles. We're witnessing women who are just honestly like flying through life by the seat of their pants without any hard work or anything like that. Like we literally saw one scene of a girl working this whole entire season, and even then that girl doesn't even work full-time either, like a regular young adult mother or a young teen mom especially. So there's that. I want to say, get this off my chest or else I'd feel guilty again, that I feel like Janelle, the way Janelle treats her children is despicable, disgusting. The way she allows her partners to treat her children is also despicable and disgusting. I wish that Dr. Drew would call it out instead of just asking all these stupid fluff questions about stuff that doesn't even matter, stuff that doesn't even impact children, which is the whole point of this television show. But yeah, I will be recapping my thoughts on the reunion special as well, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, that's your season finale recap. Feel free to share your comments down below. Fire alarm again. Feel free to leave your comments in the box down below. As always, we will be chatting. You can also chat with each other, share your thoughts, feelings, opinions. As always, like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Again, reunion special is coming up next. I'm trying to catch up for you guys. You can always also chat with me on Twitter at Grace Report. I am really active on there with you guys, chatting, laughing, having fun, live tweeting sometimes as well. I can't wait to see you over there. Thank you so much for watching.